to another episode here on A New Life in France, and we are kicking off our summer season with this gem. Well, it's not quite a gem at the moment, but the history behind this property is amazing. There is so much history which I'll go into shortly, but also it is a complete and utter renovation. But it is a fantastic country house, would be the best way to describe it, in a lovely village setting. So much history and so much potential. I'm going to take you behind the scenes. It has really fallen into disrepair, but you can see the potential here to build something beautiful. So without further ado, let's go and have a look. So while I'm just letting you have a look at these outside shots here, you have to remember at this time of filming, only a week ago, there is grass everywhere. The one thing you get in France at this time of year, and as you get into May, the grass grows fast. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you these views from here, but also just in the edit we're going to add in one or two of the agents' views as well, where there is a lot less grass. As you'll see on screen in a moment, a couple of those images. So when we're now looking at this outside bit, what you can see as you come through those big gates, it's just a beautiful property that you've got in front of you. You can see that lovely tower. And why don't we just dwell a little bit on the history of this particular manor house stroke chateau. It's just got a lot of history. You can even go back to Roman times. And where we find ourselves in the Vienne, we're not that far from Poitiers, which is great for airports, but also Poitiers was a big centre for the Roman Empire. There's a lot of Roman areas around here, lots of towns and villages which have got that Gallo-Roman history to it. So there's even the chance there's one or two of the vaults in the very basement of the property that probably does go back to before Christ. But when we look a little bit further though, and we're going through past those times, you know, we've got some history here, and particularly when you're looking at this big tower in front of you, this big tower now with that lovely wisteria on it, that actually is a nod back to the Templar times. You go back to sort of the 1200s and the Templar times, which was here. That really was where they would have a tower to protect. So they would be protecting their wealth and everything that goes through with that. And really you can start to then build the picture from that time as we're looking at that in front of us. And then the rest of the house, there were elements that were added through probably in the 13th and 14th century. And then what was pretty typical in those times is we come probably into, you know, sort of, I suppose by the 19th century, so we sort of look in those times, a lot of properties became abandoned, and that just happened. And so this property, as we have a look through it, it's got a lot of history then, which is also the modern history. We can go from the 1960s, and you may have heard me reference this as sort of the home of cool. It's got a real heart about the jazz, and we'll talk about that as we go through as well. But as I said right at the beginning, this is a renovation property, so I'll be giving you other snippets as we go through. This is a complete and utter renovation. So what you can see in front of you here is we've got this courtyard area, and if we look over to the right, you can sort of see in amongst the undergrowth, there is a little area there as well. Now, that area itself, you could actually probably turn that into some more accommodation. I mean, it's like a gardener's or a caretaker's cottage that's in there. There's also a two-floor thing annex sort of attached to it, and then that comes into the main house. But we're going to go in a moment and have a really good look. And you can see that archway, and there's a couple of gates there, those iron gates, and that takes you into where there is a swimming pool. Okay, there is a swimming pool, and I've already gone to have a look, and there's some frogs in the swimming pool. It's not operational at the moment, and do remember that as we're looking around. So you've got this courtyard area, lots going on here, and then we go through those double gates, the metal gates, and you go into that swimming pool area, and then you can swing back and look at the staircase going up into another side of the house. Now, there is a lot of undergrowth around by that swimming pool, but that's where a lot of the land then goes up and through from there, and you've got 16 hectares. That's a lot of land. So you've got a lot of land to go with this, and I'll tell you other gems as we do. But, you know, let's go and step in now. There's a certain area I've got to get into. I can't go through all the doors. There's certain doors I've got to go through because it's, you know, a building that desperately needs renovation. It isn't the safest of buildings, but let's go in and have a look and see where we go. As we come in, we're sort of coming into, it's a sort of kitchen area here. And for me, this is a sort of kitchen area that it's got going with it. It also then has got, it's like a sunroom. You can see here the sunroom, and you can imagine the sun coming down in there in the morning. And again, you're sort of in probably a big kitchen diner kind of area within that. And again, for me, the stone floor here just tells you everything you want to know about it. It's that lovely coolness to it. I also think there's probably just hints here, you know, in the 1960s when it was really in its pomp, and also then probably coming into the 1990s as well when it became an artist refuge. But before, it's really known for, you know, there's a Parisian who came here, wanted to make it into something great, and he would have some of those jazz names that people just know. And, you know, within that, you know, Billie Holiday, you can just imagine stuff that was going on here. Miles Davis as well. They would have been here probably having a cup of tea in the morning, or probably, let's say, a cup of coffee would be much more French. Of course it would. But again, just imagine what's in here. But this is a big space, big kitchen space, a big sort of kitchen, dining area to be able to really enjoy that. When we come into this next room, we've got this big archway and this fantastic fireplace. And for me, this would have been a just probably some kind of sitting room, I would say you could turn it into, but it's got so much history. There's also then, just coming off the side of it, there is a set of stairs, and we're going to go up those in a moment, but that set of stairs does go down. It's currently blocked at the moment, but there'll be a carve underneath here, and that's where I think you can go back to those sort of before Christ times. Really, there's some evidence down there, but we can't get down there at the moment. So again, there is another room, but there's a fair few bats in that other room. We've already disturbed them, so I don't want to go into that room now. So we're going to make our way up the stairs. This beautiful staircase that we go up. As we go up the staircase, then we've got a first floor and a second floor. Now, I'm just going to make our way up to the second floor, because the second floor, I think, is probably where there was a lot of jazz played, is going to be my guess. It's a very tranquil area up here. You can see there's some seating up here. We are up in the attic. And within that now, as we're looking here, and you look at all of this seating here, just imagine this would have been where people were chilling out and would have been enjoying it and just taking in some of the sights. And there's one or two windows here, and you can sort of look out of those. Now, as we make our way back down to the first floor, and I'm going to take you along, and it's very much a labyrinth that I'm going to show you now as we're coming through. We come back down, got another big room that we come into, and you can see that. And then we start to go down into a corridor. Now, in terms of this, if we go one way in this corridor, it's fairly falling down. You know, the roof is starting to give a little bit here. You can really see just where it's been left alone. But also there is, sadly, and you will have seen one or two of those in the shots we've just been showing you, there's bits of graffiti around as well. You'll see most of the windows have been broken, and that's because it's had trespassers in, and they've really just paid no respect to this lovely historical building, and it has been really left to a state of disrepair. So in that area, as we go down, you know, there are some toilets and bathrooms and ones there. There's even a bit of a sun terrace coming off one of them, and you can see that sun terrace. There's a bit of blue tarpaulin on it and stuff, and you can get out onto there. And this could easily be changed. You know, this can be changed. You're going to have to spend some money, of course you are, and it's there. But if I now take you down this long corridor, we go into this corridor, and to get into this corridor, we go through a toilet, and the reason we've had to do that is the only way we can get in. There are other entrances to this, but we've sort of got to take it this way. We now come into a little bedroom with a mezzanine, which would have been ideal for children to go up into. And then we really come into, probably for me, is just another amazing part of this building. You know, we're coming in, as you look now, we're coming into this big room, this big room. It's got like a mezzanine to it, or a jester's gallery. It goes up so high. You've got this big stone fireplace wrapped around with windows, flooding light coming in. It just is very special in here. And that wooden mezzanine up there as well. I mean, just look how that has survived. And that is great. You've got the windows there as well with that light coming in. You've also then got a door, and the door has got some stairs that take you back outside. That's taking you down to where the pool is. So you can just imagine as you're rolling down into there, and you can come in from there. But again, I just love this big room. It really is amazing. You've then got a corridor coming off this, and you've got the corridor coming through That corridor then takes you probably down to that gardener's cottage. You can't go all the way down, as you can just see nearer the end there's elements of green, and that's where water has come in. So the water's come in, it's just a little bit dodgy through there. I didn't really want to go into that particular area. But when you look at everything that you've got from this, you've got the gardener's cottage, you've got this big area as well that we're looking at. And then as we flow back through, you've got like another kitchen area near that mezzanine, and then you come down into the main part of the house. So for me, when I'm looking at all of this and what it's got, is you need to be able to have a little bit of visualization. You need to be able to have something to visualize here and really look at and think about. But this property has the potential to be absolutely stunning. So if you're looking at the grounds again, and we're going to start to show you this now a little bit more just to help you with that. We're also going to help you as well that there was, in 2008, there was an article in the Sunday Times from the UK, and it was on the market in 2008. And what you can see here is probably one of the nicest photos of the pool and the side of the house, and you can just imagine the hustle and bustle and people coming through. So when we're looking at that, and you can look at this, you know, for me, what is the potential here? And there's also a little snippet of something I'm going to give you in a moment. But what's the potential here? So as you look at this property now, and we're showing you some of the still images now, both ours and those that we've used from the agent, this could be one big, beautiful house. And you could have this as a permanent resident, as a family home. You could have this as a second home. You would have to sink a lot of money into this. But wow, what a property you would get. And you also get the land with it as well, 16 hectares of land. So I think for that, this is just special. You could turn it into one big gîte, potentially. But also you've got the potential here to turn it into 3 gîtes. You'd have a large gîte, which includes this huge big room, that massive room, and the sort of, you know, the jester's gallery and the other rooms coming off it for accommodation. You've also got another room underneath it. You could really have that as one. Then where we sort of came through in the beginning, where that kitchen and sort of the orangery that's there, and then the other rooms coming off that, and then what's above it, you could turn that into a gîte on its own, and even the gardener's cottage. So you have the potential there for 3 gîtes if you really wanted to. Now, one of them could be a permanent resident, and you could then have a couple of gîtes coming off it. But you have to remember, with a property like this, with a pool, you'd have to get it all back in and everything else like that. But you could run it from a business perspective. You really could, and it would command really good money in those summer months. So do think about that as well in terms of its potential from, you know, your investment and then your return from that. But as a house on its own for a family, just stunning, absolutely stunning. Now, there is a little twist here as well, that a few years ago in 2021, a hotel group was looking at putting in a boutique hotel here. And there is outline planning to convert all of this, but also put another building on as well to the side of the pool, which would give a lot more accommodation. And so it does have the outline planning for that as well. Now, if you get in contact with the agent, they can show you the drawings. I've had a sneaky peek and I've seen those drawings. And wow, it is something special if you wanted to turn it into that kind of boutique type hotel. So it's got lots of options and lots of opportunities. And it is, you know, it's in a great position. I think it's in a stunning position because it's not too far south, but it's not far from Poitiers, which means you're not far from the TGV, which means probably to get to Poitiers, get on the TGV and get into Paris, so TGV being the fast train to Paris, then you'd be there in an hour and a half, easily under 2 hours. And so that really opens it up. And again, Poitiers got an airport. You've got other towns around as well, including Chateau, which has got some beautiful chateaus and castles around it. You've got Montmorion, the home of writing. It's just a very special place for me as well around there. So I think it is just a great opportunity for anybody. So €280,000, I think it's great. It really is. And again, it's an exclusive property. It's an exclusive property that we've been able to show you here that is there. So enjoy all of these different images that we've got there. Enjoy them. Go with it. Take it. Click on the link. See much more. And if this is the kind of thing you're thinking about going, okay, I'm going to do some of it myself, or I've got the money to do a full renovation, or I'm looking at, property development and turning it into some kind of boutique hotel or turn it into gîtes, this should really be something you should be thinking about. I think it's a great property, I really do. And I'm really pleased to have brought it to you and for you to be able to see it, and again with all that history. Really hope you've enjoyed this, and again we keep changing the format a little bit. Now we're in our spring summer series of 2025. Each Wednesday we are going to be bringing you a property focus. Now, be that a single property like today's that we just love and we think it deserves to be on its own, or like next week we're going to give you some more properties, a number of properties in either an area or in a price range, and we're going to be bringing those as well. So we really hope you've enjoyed this. Again, we keep tweaking the format, but do remember now we're into May, we are on a program on a Monday, program on a Wednesday, program on a Friday as well. And we've also got some bonus bits that we're going to be bringing to you as well. So again, we're just going to let you have some more of the images, let them flow in front of you, enjoy them, a little bit of music, and the link is in the chat. And what we've also done is we've put an itinerary in place. So if you want to come to this area and you want to have a look, we've put an itinerary that is a 5-day itinerary, which will take you in from looking in the Vienne, which is where this is, the Haute Vienne, which is neighbouring it, and also to the cruise as well. We have done a lovely 5-day itinerary that you can look in. And the great thing is about the agent that we're working with here, this particular agent, Chris Summers, who's a great friend of the show, he will be able to help you show properties in those 3 areas, and you will be able to enjoy some beautiful towns, some lovely villages, and come and look at some fantastic properties.